UK employers and business owners are sounding the alarm. They're calling on the government to reverse recent immigration policies because they are now threatening thousands of workers across the UK. Now, we're not surprised by this because we all know that recently the government have been making strict immigration policies. And this is not just affecting those that are yet to come to the UK, it's also affecting skilled workers already in the UK, business owners and employers as well. So we're going to go into the details of exactly what's going on and what the update is. So stay with me, let's go straight into it. My name is Tochi, you're welcome to my channel. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up as you're watching so YouTube can recommend it to more people. Kindly share it to everyone that needs to hear this, and to all my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. You're welcome back to this video. If you're yet to subscribe, please click on the subscribe button right now. It's free. Thank you. So let's start with the transport industry, right? Report has it that so many transport workers might be forced to leave the UK because of the current immigration situation. Okay, it says that the mayor of London has called on the government to reconsider its immigration rules, which the TSSA Transport Union said could leave up to 300 transports for London staff at risk of removal. Now, they are speaking on behalf of their staff. Moving on, it says that changes to visa policies were announced, obviously including increase the salary threshold for visa sponsorship and removal of some transport roles from the skilled worker list. So he told the government assembly that on the 9th of October that the changes had left TfL staff in limbo, like they don't even know what to do anymore. The staff is stranded. The employers, the company, they want to help, but they can't because their hands are tied. So the deputy mayor for transport had written to the migration minister to call for the measure to be paused and for TfL staff to be protected immediately. Because not only will these workers lose their jobs and stand the risk of being removed, they're also going to be short-staffed. Okay, and guys, it's not just the transport service, so we're going to continue. We're going to see other sectors that are crying out as well. The Home Office said it will respond to the letter in due course. So this staff, they are all unsure. It's unclear whether they can continue working in the UK or not. He says that one of the workers have struggled to sleep. One is pregnant, expecting to give birth very soon, and she's not even sure whether she can continue to stay in the UK after having her baby. Some of them are just unsure of what's going on, what their fate would be, and every other thing. You guys, we all know all the immigration changes that were listed in the white paper. The government have even, started implementing some of them right now, giving us dates that some are going to start. So it's really hard on a lot of people, a lot of sectors, a lot of skilled workers are affected right now, and companies are now the ones that are crying out and calling on the government to do something about it. So you can imagine when business owners and companies are now crying out, calling on the government to please do something about it, because guys, see, it's going to lead to severe labor crisis. So they've spent thousands of pounds to be here, worked hard to gain qualifications, invested everything, and now they're being told they have no place here. It's a complete betrayal of the promise they were given. Okay. So obviously the new rules took the salary threshold to £41,700. And TfL currently pays a starting salary of £31,000 for graduates. Okay, so it doesn't even meet the salary threshold. Then with trainee station staff believed to earn between £35,300 and £41,800. Like, the most annoying part of all of this is that the company wants to sponsor you. They are happy to sponsor you. It's just that the government have tied their hands. So they're all asking, because they're saying these people are doing essential frontline jobs and helping to keep London moving every day. Their jobs are very vital. The government doesn't understand that, and their new rules are just unfavorable to this set of people, and it might cause lots of them to leave the UK. So they've estimated as many as 300 TfL staff that could be affected. Okay, now a TfL spokesperson said, we are working with our colleagues affected by the changes to understand whether they have other routes to work in the UK available to them and to support them where possible. Which other routes are we talking about here? So we see that a lot of them would be forced to leave. It's not just affecting only migrants, it's affecting businesses as well. So moving on, we'd also see another sector that is complaining bitterly. This is what they said. Foreign staff, migrants, they are very important to us, helping grow our economy, they've changed our lives. Scottish farmers fear for future after changes to skilled worker visas. So farmers are also complaining that, see, these changes are also going to affect them a lot. In fact, it's already affecting them, because if you look at this, he said 3 or 4 years ago, I was absolutely at the end of my tether, says Rolly. Looking across the green fields of his farm, I couldn't find skilled workers here. And we got to the decision that we were maybe going to have to sell our cows, okay? So they were at the verge of stopping their business, probably selling their cows and just forgetting anything about farming and all of that, because he tried to find workers, but he couldn't find, okay? Not until he got saviors. And he said the survival of the herd came from an unlikely location, the Philippines. Unable to find staff in the UK, Christie decided to begin the costly and laborious administrative process of bringing foreign workers to the UK on skilled worker visas, okay? So the first 2 Filipino staff arrived in early 2023, which Christie says has been literally life-changing. That, guys, can you see, are you following this story? He said that they were at the verge of losing their farm. They were like, okay, let's sell off these cows because there were not enough workers. They were, they had a shortage of staff and everything, and they just couldn't function alone. They tried employing people here. They couldn't find. They put out adverts upon adverts, job adverts, but nobody was applying. And it was just like, what are we going to do? We can't do this on our own. Until they tried sponsoring overseas workers. They brought in people from outside the UK, and then it has been life-changing for their business. Yes, it is more expensive to bring in people because you have to pay the immigration skill charge and all the cost of bringing in people, COS and applying for COS and everything. But they said it was better for them. So it's been life-changing since then. Others have followed since, and Rory and Gregor now employ 4 other Filipinos and 1 Hungarian man to tend to their dairy herd and their pigs. So word spread locally, and several other farmers who had tried and failed to hire reliable British workers also decided to look for help abroad. A couple of dozen Filipinos are now employed across the region's dairy farms alongside other foreign workers. The government is saying that people should invest more in looking for local staff, training them and all. They said they tried. It's not like they didn't try. They tried to employ British workers or local workers, but it just didn't work. So now in July, since July, the government have tightened immigration rules and have even removed some of those rules from the skilled worker visa list. And it says that workers entering through the route are now required to have the equivalent of degree level qualifications, which is level 6 and what is known as the regulated qualification framework. And farm work is considered a medium skilled job, Even though just a few hundred farm workers have entered this country each year on skilled worker visas, the government has closed this route for arrivals. So can you guys see how it's affecting the farm? Remember where they were at before and how this route has literally changed their business, changed their lives and took their business to the next level, and what is now going to do to them now that they think the government have closed the route on arrival. Like, what are we going to do? So this is why they are crying out, like, government, please help us, okay? We understand, yes, that you too want to cut immigration, but please consider the impact it's having on the economy, consider the impact it's having on businesses, just consider the impact these legal migrants are making. Because like I've always said here, and like we have seen obviously, that legal migrants are really not the problem of this country. Maybe politics, I don't know what the problem is, maybe for political reasons or whatever. And we all know that when 2 elephants fight, who suffers it? The grasses, right? So it is what it is. But a government spokesperson said, we recognize the vital role that skilled workers play in supporting the UK's agricultural sector, including dairy farming. The government is committed to reducing overall migration over time and ensuring that our immigration system works in line with domestic skills development. I feel like, yes, you want to cut down migration, you should also make provision for this gaps to be filled locally. Because if you're chasing people that are coming in to fill these gaps, you're saying don't come again, and those that are already here, you're making things even more difficult for them. You should have concrete plan to fill up those gaps, else you are still going to be where you were at. Like, it will just look like all the work that you have done before in opening all these routes and all of them were all in vain. You will still find that you have gone back to square one. See, with all these sectors complaining, from the transportation to agriculture to prisons, different sectors, NHS as well is not left out, guys. We're going to even go there as we continue, okay? So all the sectors are calling on the government to just see reasons beyond politics and just understand the impact this is going to have, or is already having, on businesses as well. So I found this very interesting as well as I was going through this, right? It says that in the most recent annual survey of milk producers by the dairy cooperative ALA, 84% of farmers said they had received very few or zero applications from qualified people here when advertising job vacancies. So can you see what we were just talking about? They advertise job vacancies, but people here are not applying. It says very few or even zero. So what do you expect these business owners to do? They should just fold their hands and just close up their businesses and pack up because people are not applying? So they would extend their hands. All it will cost them is more money to bring in these people, okay, legally. And it's even in the government website. These are the legal ways to bring in people that meet the requirements and qualifications and everything. So they are willing to go all out just for their business to continue functioning, for productivity as well. But if there is no concrete plan that the government is making for people here to be taking on these jobs, what do you want them to do? The industry has been working on education programs in schools and colleges to promote dairy farming as a career. According to evidence given to Parliament by the Royal Association of British Dairy Farmers, it found that 3/4 of farmers employing foreign workers did so because they couldn't recruit in the UK. So they're even saying itself that hiring foreign workers is not our first choice. It's expensive, it's difficult, there's a degree of risk, you know. We want to recruit people here first, right? He calculates that he has paid £10,000 for every foreign worker he has brought to the UK. And the government has even increased it now. They're planning to increase it by 32%. So it's even going to cost more. And on top of several £1,000s to set them up working in the UK, his workers are paid an annual salary of more than £40,000 and given accommodation on the farm. So they are really trying. So it's not cheap, that's for sure. But they are skillful and they have made my life personally better because I've got less worry now. Because they're even saying that some of them, their grandparents and forefathers passed on these businesses to them and they want to continue running it, you know. So if it's going to cost them more money to continue running it or to keep it running, then so be it. And industries which are struggling to find domestic staff to plug the gaps can try to provide evidence to the government's Migration Advisory Committee, which can decide to issue visas to jobs which are assessed as requiring lower qualifications. And I guess this is why Mark has recommended that the government should look into opening a temporary work visa to fill up shortages in this role. And Mark identified over 80 jobs just to solve the shortage in that sector temporarily, you know, until the government now decides on what to do permanently or a more permanent solution to it. Even the NHS is not left out as well, because it says that NHS could cease to function under Labour's new visa rules, says nurses. So guys, you see that a lot of sectors are literally just begging and crying and just hammering on the negative impacts this is going to cause or is already causing. So they're asking the government to look at it, reconsider, and just find a balance. Okay, we understand the side of the government as well. They want to cut down migration. It's understandable. They want to protect their borders, the country, the people. Is understandable, but they just have to find a balance so that businesses will not suffer in the process. We all know how migrants are keeping things running in this country. We don't even want to go into all that, because if we do, this video will not end. But we all know it's very clear, it's very obvious. We want to hear what you think about this in the comment section. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye bye.